So something my wife was doing, and I didn't even think about this until a little while ago. And I've talked about it privately to people, but I've never really posted a video on it, is using your Google Drive for recording your medical history. Now, I want you to be very careful about doing this because, Google is not bulletproof by any means. But it's really intended to have your information readily accessible for, for doctors and nurses and so on and so forth, especially if you visit the ER a lot, or if you are a hospital hopper. Yes, I know quite a few of those people. And so I didn't look, like I said, she was doing this for a friend and a client. I had no idea she was doing this until she asked me to look it up. I was like, wow, I never even thought about this. I mean, I've told other people to do this, but I didn't think that she was actually doing it for someone else. So, so you just go into your Google Drive. Again, you have to have a Gmail. If you've got a Gmail, you go over, once you load it up, you go into your 9 dots, you open up Google Drive. Google Drive will open. And probably the most efficient way to do this is probably to be to use Google Sheets. And it brings up a spreadsheet. Now, again, why is this important? Because if you have a Gmail address and you do this all up on your computer, or someone else types this up for you on a computer using your Gmail address, then when you get to the hospital, if you need to quickly bring up information for a doctor's or something, you can go into Google Drive on your phone and open up the document, and there it is. But yeah, it was, medication, and what's it for, and who it's from, and so on and so forth. And that's what they was doing. That's what June was doing for this particular client. And I was completely, didn't even know she was doing this for this particular client. But yeah, that's what they were doing. 50 milligrams. So that's my medication. I have blood clots. Everyone knows it. I take Coumadin. Everyone knows it. And so, yeah, so you could actually do this on your computer, or if you want a family member to type it up for you and then link it to your phone, or however, or you could type it up and then have me link it to your phone. Doesn't matter. But yeah, this is what you could do, is put your prescriptions on a spreadsheet. And then if you have other additional information you need to do, you can do other documents and so on and so forth. The nice thing about spreadsheets, this is the same thing is true with Excel. So if you are on a lot of medication for different doctors and so on and so forth, there's this little plus button down here that'll give you additional sheets. So you could do sheet 1, sheet 2, and even on your phone, you can switch between the sheets. So, but yeah, maybe for us older people who have medical conditions we have to worry about, this is probably going to be true. I mean, heaven forbid you would be in a car accident or you can't speak, but you're still alert. This way you ain't got to write it down. Yeah, you can say, give me my phone. You can open it up and then show them. That's there it is. But yeah, you could do this again. Like I said, some people are a little cautious about putting their medical information out there in the world. But with electronic medical records, yeah, it was supposed to be a nationwide thing. It was supposed to happen, and I wish it would, but it never came to be. But this way you could put, who your doctor was, what it's for, type of medication. At least there's your medication list. If you have other medical conditions like pacemaker, I have a filter, so I could put on there, it's not the aorta, vena cava. If I put vena cava filter, any doctor in the world looking at that would go, I know exactly what that is. If you have knee replacements, or anything else that you would need to make medical note. Maybe true also for airlines. I don't know. I don't fly. Flying scares the bejesus out of me. But it might be useful for that too. So like if you got an artificial knee or an artificial leg or a rod in your foot, you can make a notation on here. So, what do you have? Who did it? When was it done? Most of us when I got my filter, I got a little ID card. It says, "Hey, I have a filter." And I kind of looked at them and said, "What's this for?" Well, it's in case you fly. I'm like, one, it's not going to happen, but in case I fly. But yeah, you're right. So yeah, I'm sure when you go through the scans, those of you who fly can better probably tell us this. I don't know what shows up on those scans. I've never been through one and never will if I can help it. But yeah, I don't know how detailed those scans are. We've all seen the YouTube jokes about, yeah, go look, you'll see. But yeah, you could use your Google Drive for your basic medical history, your medication list, medical devices. So if you, like I said, if you've got rods and pins and screws, you can put it in there. If you want to give a little more, every time you go to a hospital, they're always talking about your surgery. So you could put, your surgical information in there, and so it's just a way, especially if you can't communicate, heaven forbid you can't talk for whatever reason, or, this way there's at least some place where the doctors can get the information. And like I said, and if it's not you, then whoever your designated medical person is, or medical, like family members, a lot of us, like if I was to have a problem, June can go right into my phone, go boom, 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 there. Of course, June knows all my medical history. But if you have, someone else in charge of your medical history who does not live with you, such as children, neighbors, so this way, if they're aware of where it's at, then they can, where's his phone, and then they can bring it up, and there's the information for your doctor. So this is something wonderful to consider doing. Like I said, if you're cautious about throwing it out there, that's perfectly fine. I understand you don't have to, but this just is a convenient way of keeping all that information in one spot. Going a little bit further with this, I do have one client who keeps a copy of their driver's license, their car registration, car insurance, and stuff like that, all in a Google folder. And of course, there's only one person who has access to it. It's him. But he went to tinyURL and created a tinyURL. So in his ICE contact on his phone, if law enforcement, opened up his phone, they could tap on the link in the ICE folder, and it'll take him over to his private Google Drive that has, his driver's license, his vehicle registration, his insurance information, it's copies of its insurance cards in case it's an auto accident. So if he couldn't, if he wasn't conscious, I don't want to say all law enforcement officers do that, but generally they'll pick up the phone and take it with you to the doctor's office or load you into the EMS. Some of them, I have known them to swipe to see if they can unlock it, to see if there's anything there to call someone in case of an emergency. And so in the ICE contact, like I said, under ICE, ICE stands for in case of emergency. So under his ICE contact, he's got, who to call. Who to call, and then there's this link in there, tinyURL, and you click it, it goes right into Google Drive, and like I said, there's a copy of his driver's license, insurance registration, health insurance information, his medical history. And like I said, I hadn't even thought about it. I didn't know my wife was doing it for someone to maintain their medical history online. But yeah, there's something you can do with Google Drive that's useful, that may save your life. Who knew, right? So yeah, throw your medical history out there if you're comfortable with it. If you're not comfortable, don't do it. But yeah, you can throw your medical history out there. Only person who can see it is you, unless you share that information with another person. That's what that share button is up there for. It's really helpful in that way. And so, like I said, if you couldn't talk, you're unconscious, you're in a, in this particular case for my one client, he's got it for his car information, but yeah, you could throw it out there and, bring it up on your phone. and you would have no idea how much of a hospital staff or doctor's office would appreciate that, because then they can just, go that way. It's one of the reasons why I feel locking a phone is kind of a bad thing. My phone's not locked. If you picked up my phone and swiped it right there. And I do that again for that reason, because I do have ICE contact information in it. So if, heaven forbid, I was in a car accident and unconscious, an officer could pick up my phone, swipe it, and there it is. And so I might end up doing this to my Google Drive on my personal account. That way, that information is there in case they need it. So anyways, if you found this useful, and I hope you did, useful and insightful, like and share. There's that thumbs up button down below. There's a share button. Share it with your friends. Subscribe if you can, if you've got a Google account. If you don't, you can follow us over on Facebook. That's how you find us. You just, in the upper left-hand corner is a search box. You just put @Computer Garage Ohio. If you need us to come to fix your computers, or if you want to call and schedule an appointment to drop off your computer repair, there's our phone number. Give us a call. We'll be glad to take care of you. You guys have a wonderful and great day.